Okay, so if you're the one in charge of a massive open text environment, you know the deal. The pressure is always on, right? So, how do you actually get ahead of performance problems before they blow up and start affecting your users? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dig into. We'll look at the headaches system admins deal with every day and how a new generation of monitoring tools can give you the kind of deep visibility you've been missing. And we're going to use Syntergy's xECM Observer to see how it's done.
So here's the game plan. First, we'll get to know Syntergy a bit. Then, we'll jump right into the big challenges of managing enterprise content. After that, it's all about the xECM Observer, what it is, how it works, and why teams really like it. And to wrap up, we'll pull back and see how it all fits into the bigger picture.
All right, first things first, let's talk about Syntergy. You really have to understand their history with OpenText to get why their solutions are built the way they are. Get this, Syntergy got its start way back in 1997. And just a year later, in '98, they were already an OpenText partner. Think about that for a second. That's nearly 3 decades of living and breathing the OpenText ecosystem. We're talking a huge amount of specialized experience here. Okay, so now let's get into the real meat of the issue, the core problems. And hey, if you're a system administrator for OpenText, I have a feeling these next few points are going to hit pretty close to home. So the first big headache, it's what I call the black box problem. You know your system is chugging along, handling thousands of requests, but you have zero real-time insight into what's happening. No view into the logs, the threads, the request volumes, nothing. You're basically flying blind, and that means you can't spot a problem that's bubbling up under the surface until it's already too late. It's simple, right? You just can't fix what you can't see. And that blindness? Well, it leads straight to our next problem, delayed fault detection. An issue, maybe with a workflow or a database connection, could be simmering for hours. But when do you find out about it? When your inbox is flooded with support tickets from really unhappy users. By that point, the damage is done. Productivity's down, and you're stuck putting out fires all day. So then you try to investigate, right? But now you're dealing with fragmented data. Your performance metrics are all over the place, scattered across different server logs, databases, you name it. Trying to stitch all that together to find the root cause is just this painfully slow manual process. And all that time you're wasting is happening during an outage. Not good. And to make things even better, the reporting tools you do have are probably way too rigid. You get these generic, one-size-fits-all dashboards that just aren't built for what an OpenText admin actually needs to see. So you can't customize your views to track the metrics that really matter. You end up having to export data and find workarounds, just fighting with your tools. So what's the bottom line here? All of these problems lock you into a totally reactive mode. Your entire day becomes about responding to emergencies instead of what you should be doing, proactively looking at trends, optimizing performance, and stopping issues before they ever get near a user. Yeah, so when you lay out all those challenges, it's pretty obvious there has to be a better way. And that's exactly where something like Syntergy's OpenText xECM Observer steps in.
See, this tool was purpose-built for system admins. Its whole reason for existing is to give you that deep, real-time telemetry right into your OpenText content management performance. It's all about, finally turning the lights on inside that black box.
Okay, so how does a tool like this actually work? How does it deliver that visibility? Well, the process is actually surprisingly simple. It's designed so you don't have to do some massive, complex overhaul. Let's just walk through the steps. It's basically a 4-step deal. First, you install a really lightweight agent on each of your instances. That little agent then pushes live data to a database or a security platform you already have. Step 3, you start monitoring your new dashboard, which shows you active faults, utilization, all that good stuff. And that leads to Step 4. You can actually detect and resolve issues before they impact users. A lot of the time, you'll fix things before anyone else even notices something was wrong. And a really key part of this whole approach is flexibility. The goal here isn't to lock you into some new system. It's all about integration. I mean, look at this. It works with all the standard browsers and servers, plus the databases most companies are already running, like Oracle and SQL Server. But what's really important is that it pushes data right into the big observability platforms. We're talking Splunk, Azure Analytics, Grafana, you name it. It just slots right into the monitoring setup you already have. Okay, that's the tech side. But what does this actually mean for the admins who are in the trenches every day? Let's talk about how these features turn into real-world benefits. Honestly, the change in how your team operates can be pretty dramatic. That delayed fault detection we talked about, that becomes early detection and way faster resolutions. Limited visibility? That gets replaced with custom dashboards that show you exactly what you need to see. Fragmented data becomes actionable insights and trend analysis. And that constant fear of outages and SLA failures, that turns into improved stability and actually hitting your SLAs. It's a total shift from being reactive to being proactive.
All right, let's zoom out for a minute. The xECM Observer is a really powerful tool for sure, but it's just one piece of a much bigger puzzle that Syntergy helps companies put together.
And to really get a sense of their impact, check out this story. There's this IT project manager for Antarctica, New Zealand. I mean, think about the conditions they're dealing with. Low bandwidth, super high latency satellite links. It's about as extreme as IT gets. And they chose Syntergy's replicator tech as a key part of making it all work.
And that's because their expertise is just so broad. We're talking everything from data management and loading to really complex upgrades and migrations, geosynchronization, workflow enhancements, storage, high availability, disaster recovery, the whole shebang. They've really got solutions for the entire life cycle of an open text environment. Performance monitoring, like we've been talking about, is just one part of their whole always-on philosophy.
And that really brings us to the final question, the one you should be asking yourself. We live in a 24/7 world, right? Users expect everything to work perfectly all the time. So can you honestly, confidently say that your most critical, mission-critical content is truly always on? If there's even a little bit of doubt in your mind, well, that's probably a sign that it's time to take a closer look.